Hello, and welcome to this Spriting tutorial with the Amethyst. Now, the Amethyst is still sick, so I will probably be like breaking into numerous coughing sessions. I'm considerably less sick than when I made the previous Spriting videos, but I still am. So, okay, I'll go ahead and get started. This is for an Overworld sprite. And this is going to be me working on the character who most veterans to Reborn will know as Luna. So, this is a NPC sprite pulled up from Pokemon Essentials as default. You will recognize her from 3rd gen. Isn't she beautiful? The answer is no. So, we're going to do some stuff here. With most Pokemon Essentials things, it is currently in 200% magnification, and that is hell to edit with, so in order to change that, I'm going to go down to resample, by percent 50, decheck smooth, and boom, we're at 100% magnification. Okay, I like to work really zoomed in, by the way, but that's not necessarily all. The second issue here with the sprite, before we can even begin working on it, is the alpha channel. If I turn it off, boom, black, that's ugly, it kills the outline, because I talked about this in my color video, which I haven't uploaded yet, but by the time I upload this, I should have, if that makes any sense. Pokemon uses this zero darkness black outline, and they need to stop, especially since the file has a black background. With the alpha channel off, actually. But, easy way to fix this in graphic scale. Control A, Control X, Control V. I can now turn the alpha channel off, and the outline is preserved. That won't work for all files, it depends on how it's saved, but in this case, it works. So, now we begin. I like to do the base pose and then go back for like each facing and then go back and animate it. Obviously you could do the base pose and then animate that row and then move on to the next row and such, but this is just my personal preference because my style is to get the hardest things out of the way first, and animating it is actually pretty easy. Surprisingly, it's annoying, but easy. Okay, what am I going to do here first? I usually shrink people. Schwupp. And that's just kind of to make them more... I feel bad for saying this, but it looks better. I don't mean to, like, insult any body types or anything. But especially like with a character like Luna, who's supposed to be a very attractive, you know, stereotypically attractive, beautiful girl, etc. She should be thinner. Okay, so I'm just kind of dicking around with the face. That sounds really bad, taking out of context. I just now realized what I said. Nobody repeat that, please. But okay, so I moved her body together to make her thinner, like in terms of wideness. You know, I won't do that for every character. Like, I'm pretty sure I didn't do that for the Doctor because he is supposed to be a bigger person. But Luna is pretty petite. And so because her eyes were too close together, I had to move them apart. Then I had to widen her bottom of the face because they looked bad with running into her chin. It was weird. Anyway, that's done. So I'm going to work from this. I actually don't like how her hands are there. Anyway, I'm going to post the link to the reference card I'm using. It's just her later profile on the website. But I will post that in the description. I'll also post graphic scale for those who aren't familiar with it. But I'm looking at that right now, and I don't think the software I'm using is going to pick up me looking at this image. So if I'm like not doing anything, I'm probably looking at the reference image. Because again, I'm a big proponent of I'm a big proponent of, you know, not letting. I'm a big proponent of having a design before you start actually making the thing. Going to move her arms a little further down, just because they kind of look like she has her hands up against her shoulders like that, and that's weird. Okay. That looks better, right? Alright, one of the things about Overworld sprites is 16 by 20, by the way, is a default size for editing Overworld sprites. Some of them are actually 16 by 21. And again, I'm using the custom grid up here. Now that it'll actually be picked up. You can set up a custom setting so you can work with it easier, and that's what I've done. So that's where I'm working at, and God, I was going to say something else. Well, I want to edit the form first. Oh, what I was saying is, in the 16 by 20 area, let's see, 13 of the 20 vertical pixels are taken up by the head. So, you really don't have much detail on the body. I mean, especially contrast this to, I'm clicking over to the other image here, like the battle sprite. In battle sprite, you've got 80 pixels and about, I don't know, 15 to 20 of them are the head. So you see where the focus is really coming in. For that reason, I'm going to start on her hair. Because with the Overworld sprite, what is it? 60%-ish? 65% of the sprite is her head compared to like 15 to 20%. So color will be one of the last things I do. Luna has her hair over one of her eyes. It's very curvy, her hair is. So I'm going to start with the outline here. I mentioned this before, but you want to generally do the form before the texture or color. If only because if you end up having to change it later, you don't want to have to redo all that work. So, and then her hair kind of on her other side tucks in behind her ear. But it still covers the ear, so I have to get that. Oops, grabbed the wrong color. I do that a lot, but it's not a big deal because you can pick up and drop colors like easy in this. Okay. Other thing about Luna is she has a headband. Excuse me. She has a little black. What's it called? I'm bringing the proper word for that, like bonnet. I'm okay. Yeah, she has a little bonnet thingy, so I haven't actually threaded those before. Shouldn't be too hard. It's just gonna be a little line across this way and down on the other side. And again. Okay. So that's that. I might end up making that thinner later. And that later is going to be pretty soon. But that is a bridge I will cross when I come to it. Okay, back of Luna's hair kind of curves out. Alright, well, firstly, I'm going to bring this down a little bit. And this is going to curve out over. Alright, if you'll notice, I have one space between the left and the sprite over here on the, one space on the left between the edge and the sprite and two on the right, and I'm going to have her hair curving to the left, so I'm going to just move her over real quick. So, I can do that. And that should look okay. I'm really not sure how I feel about this bonnet. Alright, other thing I'm going to do is draw in shadows around her face. Or rather reappropriate them because they're already worse shadows. That doesn't look good. And, you know, don't be afraid to try things with sprites and see if it works or doesn't. How about that? I think I like that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, a lot of what I do is just kind of playing around and looking at the thumbnail up here and seeing what looks good. So that's that. That's her hair form. Next I'm gonna do her body. And I really love her little dress outfit thingy. It's so cute. I wish I had one. I'm sorry, that's just an aside. Okay, firstly she has a sort of corset on. So that's gonna make her look really thin. And I'm gonna drag up her red just to because I don't want to put in the actual black and white colors she has yet, so I'm gonna use red to just kind of mark where the white will be, and I'll fix that later. She has white sleeves and then white shoulder puffy things and white sleeves. You can use a darker red for the darker white. Okay, and the frill of her dress is white. Her shoes are black. Her stockings, however, won't be seen in her sprite. And her skirt is black and her corset is black. So how do we make this look like a skirt and a corset? Well, it's probably not going to happen, to be perfectly honest. You can safely give up on inserting a lot of the detail into the sprite. So it's just going to kind of look like a one-piece black thing with white lining. And that's going to be fine for an Overworld sprite, because you see the detail later in the panel sprite. And then her mugshot. That's such an ugly term, mugshot. Ugh. I'm gonna move the bonnet up a little bit. Even though that's gonna eclipse the top of the top of her hair and maybe make it look weird. It looked weird down there. That looks better. And then you can see her part coming up this way-ish. Actually should be more over like that. We'll leave that for now. So I go back and play with things a lot. Okay. I'm kind of satisfied with that for the form stuff. I mean, it's pretty simple. Because you're working with so few pixels in the body, which is where most of the detail is usually, these Overworld sprites aren't that hard, which is also why I'm starting with them. I guess I may not be doing a fantastic job at explaining exactly why I'm doing everything I'm doing. Like in that case, I just saw that the hair wasn't quite as rounded as it should be, so I fixed that, but you will develop an eye for, you know, what looks good and what doesn't, and until then, most of what you do is just keep playing with things. This is just me showing you how I play with things, so that's okay. Alright, can I grab the color next? I'm going to actually, Luna's hair color is very light, and I'm just going to use a print screen here real quick and drag it in so I have the exact color. Gonna take that. Oh yeah, Luna's also very pale, so I should be sure I remember to get that. In fact, I'll just copy over her skin tone right now. It's actually darker. Okay. Never mind. it can be worth, oh, that's what I wanted. So we don't have that redness. It can be worth taking graphic or colors from other graphics files just so it's consistent. In this case, the lighter skin tone wasn't represented in the battle sprite, but that's fine. Anyway, how about that one? Is that close? That is like 3 shades off. That's fine. Okay. Hair. I'm gonna grab her darker hair color. Sorry, I'm looking really closely because I think the dark skin tone was also used for her dark hair tone. Let me double check that. $25, $25, $30. Yes, it is. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna drag that across all this currently dark hair tone. I'm gonna miss, but that's easy to fix. I'm gonna skip outlining the bonnet for now, because obviously that's going to be a different color. Actually, I'm just gonna drag the black up there and fill that in right now. You'll notice I'm working with the zero black outline, which I've so adamantly detested previously. It's because I know I'm going to be changing that later, so I'm not afraid to use it temporarily. Does that look good? I mean, I wish I could see the top of her hair through that, but I guess that'll do. I mean, other than the outline on the top of her hair. Alright, gonna finish outlining this. Right there. That's better. Next lightest hair tone. Was there really only 3? No, I missed a hair tone. One, two, 3. There. Okay. So I'm gonna work with the dark up in this case. Usually I would probably work with light down, but since I have this pretty dark color already, I want to work backwards. By the dark color, I mean, since I put the outline on first. Next lightest. Her hair is very light, so I'm going to be pretty liberal about applying this lighter shade. In fact, I'll probably just go in and do like that, or even no, that. Boop, boop, boop. Sure. That my roommate got here. Missed the spot earlier. I had missed her old hair color down there. That's fine. Because I'm going to try and treat this as a second outline color, so I feel like that's going to work. I'm going to darken it for that reason, just so it's more distinct. Remember, when you darken yellows, you have to move towards orange. Go over that one more time. And that's going to allow me to really span this lightest color, because then I can treat this 71 shade color as a darker shade, rather than treating this 83 shade color as a highlight. I can use this as the default. Did that make any sense? Probably not. You'll see what I mean. Kind of want to darken this color too, to match the other one. In fact, I'm going to. because that'll emphasize the light color. Okay, let's see. I mean, as I've made clear just now, you will need to change shades a little bit from the sprites, just so you can kind of solidify the look you want. Because obviously if you're working with more color depth or less color detail or something like that, then you're going to want to use different shades to accentuate what you want to accentuate. In this case, I really wanted to accentuate her highlights, which require me to use a lighter base color so that it doesn't look too dramatic. So the highlight doesn't look too dramatic and overtaking. I'm going to zoom out to 200% just so you can see what this will look like in game. So that's that. I like her hair as is. I'm content with that. I'm not sure about the bonnet. I haven't really done the bonnet yet, so let me do that now. First we're going to have to get our black color. As I said before, blue makes the prettiest blacks. So I'm going to pick around darkness of 9 for our outline. Then we're going to go up about, when you're working between shades and sprites, usually anywhere from 10 to 17 brightness is a good amount to jump up. I usually stick around at 10 to 12. In this case, that was 12. Mouse just glitched. But that's not quite light enough for what I want, so I'm going to try using that as the top outline color and going one shade up for the middle. I'm jumping 12 again. And that's pretty harsh, so I'm going to smooth the transition with the second lighter color. That looks okay. However, there's also some little frilly heart and bow stuff on her bonnet, so I'm just going to draw that in real quick. Again, we don't have much room for detail, so you don't have to be super specific about what you draw here. And she has some hearts on that. The hearts are the white color though, so I will just fill in this black color where it else belongs, and I'll go back and do the whites. Boopity boop, 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 and her eye is a 0 black, so we're gonna drop that in there so that her eye doesn't ever get erased, like the doxy. Excuse me. Okay, next up is the white. And I'll probably have to use a few more shades of this just to make it blend well, but I'm gonna start here, gonna pull over to a blue, because again, blue makes the prettiest whites. Gonna take a saturation of, we'll go with 11, and whoop, 84. No, that's too light, because this is our darkest white color. And lighter will be 84, 82. Hello? Yeah, that's not light enough. Again, I'm looking at the thumbnail. I can see the white blends pretty harshly with the black, which is why I was saying I'm going to need to use a lot of shades. I'm going to pull down to 60 something, 61. Just put that on the edges. Losing my lightest color here, but whatever. See, that blends much better. I want to go even darker. I'm looking at the thumbnail again. If you're wondering, I'm like doing nothing for this moment. Okay, I think I'm okay with that. So that's that for her body. I need to put the white on her bonnet. White little heart shape again. There is nowhere near enough detail here for a heart shape, so I'm just gonna draw things that look like they could be a heart shape. That's not happening. I'm gonna use one more shade here. No, I'm not. I'm gonna use that shade. Okay, I think I'm okay with that. So this is it for the front pose. I say that this is it, but I say that already having acknowledged that there's a couple more things I want to change, like that. Just to lighten the outline, I'm going to actually drop in some colors up here. No, that doesn't look good. I'm not going to do that. But I am going to put a little shadow under the bonnet so it doesn't fade quite so harshly. And there too. I don't know. The underside looks too thick to me right now. That's what I'm playing with. I think that's good. That's... Alright, I'm gonna go with that. That's for the front sprite. And I feel like I've taken a while here. So I'm gonna probably keep tweaking it even though I've said I was done 3 times. Yeah, that doesn't give the same definition as before, but I like that better. The definition to her hair curving back, but it looks better like this, so that's gonna be how it is. So I was done 3 times now, and this is 4, as I'm still tweaking it. But this is the front sprite. Whoops, I forgot to carry down the skin color to her hands. And I'm gonna end the video here because I feel like this has been a pretty long time already, and I don't want to do another hour-long video, so I will continue momentarily in doing side and back poses. Admittedly, front is the hardest because you have to work with the face most. So, save. Whoops, I just overwrote that file. I'll fix that later. Okay.